welcome to Weekends with Whitney. Coming up in this morning's show.
Two young women who took drastic measures to save their own lives. Their experience could save yours too. And Dr. Nick explains why some of us flounder and others flourish in the face of adversity and what we could do about it. Plus, a roaring crowd yesterday in Tiger Stadium, but this Tiger outroars them all. I'll take you behind the scenes and into the life of Mike the Tiger. And we wing it with these beauties stopping by for a visit on their annual flight south.
But first, breast cancer used to be something that women didn't have to worry about until they were in their 40s. But now women in their 20s are being diagnosed with breast cancer, which begs the question, what's happening? Is something in our environment going on that's causing this? Is it really changing? And if so, what, if anything, can we do about it? Well, this morning we help answer some of those questions. You're going to meet two young women who, when confronted with the words breast cancer, took what many would call the most radical approach, but each did it for different medical reasons.
30-year-old Brittany Weems and 32-year-old Megan Gallagher have had double mastectomies, something 20 years ago you'd rarely hear of in young women. Yet both had their breasts removed under different circumstances. Megan found a lump in her breast 2 years ago, 1 month before her wedding. She went immediately to her OB/GYN.
My gynecologist at the time told me, you're in perfect health, you're only 30, go get married and come and see me in 3 months.
She went back 2 months later.
He again told me the same thing, that you're too young for cancer, come back in 3 months, and I kind of sat there and said, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong, but I would like to go and get this checked out, and he finally referred me to Woman's within, you know, a couple weeks, and everything got started.
So he didn't even refer you to get a mammogram initially?
He just gave me an exam and that was it.
Her mammogram immediately showed trouble. They did an ultrasound the same day, then scheduled a biopsy for 2 days later.
I found out they were going to be biopsying not just the lump, but also the lymph node, so I figured something was up. So, and before I left, you know, because I was really nervous.
Sure.
I asked the doctor honestly, I was like, honestly, what do you see? And she said, you need to prepare yourself.
The radiologist also told Megan the biopsy results will be sent to her OB/GYN, the same doctor who told her she was too young to have breast cancer. He'd have to be the one to give her the results.
I had to go see him one more time for the news. He never made eye contact with me or my husband.
The news was bad. She had stage 3 breast cancer.
It had already spread to one of my lymph nodes, and all he had to do was palpate that and he would have known something was up.
Were you furious?
Yes. And it showed not just the one tumor, I had tumors all over my left side. I had some spots on my right side. He immediately referred me to Dr. Haley.
Are we seeing younger and younger girls?
We are, but we are now able to diagnose people who are younger because the technology has changed. In the old days, you couldn't see on a mammogram a mass in someone who was young.
Really?
These days, we have digital mammograms, 3-dimensional mammograms, and breast MRI. And we can actually find subtle changes much, much earlier.
Treatment and surgical options have improved too, but for Megan, the most drastic, a double mastectomy, was agreed by everyone to be her best option.
From the beginning, from the time I figured something was really wrong, I said take them both. Obviously something was wrong to get cancer at 30, so might as well.
Megan had a hormone-fed cancer, so she also had a recommended hysterectomy. Along with her uterus went any chance of giving birth. She accepts it all with amazing grace.
I'd rather be here 40 years from now than, you know, have a child, and what if the child got cancer? I'd blame myself.
Brittany is a mom, wife, and a nurse. At 29, she decided to get genetically tested for the breast cancer gene. It came back positive.
I thought it was negative.
But she had prepared.
So I had made the decision that if I was positive, I was going to have the surgery.
2 years ago, Angelina Jolie made the same decision. But Brittany says it didn't factor into her decision.
I tried to not allow a lot of outside influences to persuade my care. Nobody has to live for me, and I have to be there for my children.
4 months ago, just 4 weeks after discovering she had the mutated gene, Dr. Haley performed her double mastectomy.
It allows them to be proactive. In other words, it's the only way that we can allow them to reduce their risk by 95%.
And you're seeing more and more of that?
Yeah, we see it every day.
He says about 10% of his breast cancer patients have that mutated gene, so genetic testing is recommended only for those with a family history, like Brittany's two sisters. Both tested positive this summer. One sister is undecided about surgery. The other had a double mastectomy in July. Brittany's never second-guessed her own decision.
The incisions, the surgeries, none of it has really given me that, oh no, what did I just do?
It's incredible.
I know. It made it so much easier for my younger sister to have the surgery because she didn't see that I was scared or that I was affected. And so she went into it like the same way that I did. Headstrong, I'm not going to back down.
Reconstructive plastic surgeon Dr. Andrew Friel says patients today have better options.
We're able to go in and while breast cancer surgeon is removing the breast, while the patient is still asleep, I can begin a reconstruction.
Dr. Friel can reconstruct the breast with the patient's own tissue or implants, either saline or silicone, all without posing any health risks.
Presence of breast implants before cancer doesn't decrease the chance of survival, doesn't lead to delay in diagnosis, so there's really no correlation to breast cancer in my opinion.
Dr. Haley says researchers don't know everything that causes breast cancer, but we're learning more every day.
You think they're probably environmental. You think it has to do with genes that maybe we don't know about yet. We know that lifestyle can certainly play a role in the development of a lot of cancers.
So do some hormones. Studies link menopause drugs, estrogen and progestin, used together to breast cancer. But what about the hormones younger women use?
Birth control has anything to do with it?
Well, it's a hormone. So what
Right.
we've seen is that if women grow a cancer that's responsive to hormones and their own birth control, it can certainly cause that cancer to grow faster.
While the number of younger women diagnosed with breast cancer is on the rise, so are survival rates. They're at an all-time high, and the race for a cure is on.
Will we find a cure for breast cancer?
Well, the optimist in me says we will. Now, will it be while I'm still practicing? I don't know. I mean, I'm hopeful for the next generation.
Be proactive about your health. Know what options are there, and don't back down.
I found out I had cancer and I got a chance to fight and I beat it. I didn't, get hit by a car and my life was over. Because cancer does not mean your life is over.
There's a really interesting, great fundraiser coming up this Thursday, 7 to 10 at La Berge Casino. It's a Bust Breast Cancer Bra Art Fashion Show.
Oh my gosh.
For ticket information, go to womans.org. We saw just a moment ago in Brittany and in Megan the courage to fight, the will to live, the courage to win. We're joined this morning with Dr. Nick about what makes some people get it all together when they hear the worst of news and other people completely crumble. Here he is with that. Good morning.
Good morning, Whitney, and especially a word like cancer. I laugh a little bit because years ago there was a movie, and I just remember the scene of she's got the big C. We couldn't even talk about it, and now we're talking about it so openly and hopefully towards a cure. I mean, I want to just get that in, that we continue to mount ourselves and put some resources into the cure. Mm-hmm. But with regard to these two extraordinary people, I thank you for putting people like that on your show, because now again we're talking about emphasizing the positive and those who have willpower and those who are proactive, those who do not just fall apart. Mm-hmm. And that's really the issue. Yeah. At least that's the issue you raise to me every once in a while.
Oh, it is.
Why is it that some seem
to fall apart and others don't? And does it teach all of us that should we ever go down a similar path that we too can? It's motivating for me, but I don't know if it is for everyone.
Whitney, I as I said, say very often about some of these things, I'm not the sharpest pencil when it comes to answers, because they're philosophical questions that really get into the very meaning and essence and purpose and mission and where we come from and what we're DNA'd.
So you said it didn't happen overnight. Like learning how to cope with these type of things goes way back.
Yeah, you were asking me about how one copes with a catastrophe, and I kind of responded, well, it's not really about the catastrophe. It's about what they've been doing long before that catastrophe came so that they were ready for it.
Which stunned me.
Because, but when you think about it, it does make sense that we're building a proactivity all through life. And it may not start until much later in life. Some children have it harder than others. But you want to start it in childhood, where you build that sense of, again, resilience, and when bad things happen, how am I going to deal with them? When losses come, when I'm picked on, when I lose a best friend, when we have to move and I have to start off on a whole new school. Do you see, these are not necessarily losses that have to do with cancer, but they're losses. When someone that I've been working with recently can't hear anymore, a man who's got everything else going for him but he can't hear, and his whole focus right now is on how devastated it is that he can't hear. And I think that's tragic, because I'm trying to work with him to see, I know it's a loss.
Sure.
And with these people who are struggling with cancer, we still don't know what the outcome's going to be. But that kind of will to live.
Well, and then one of them, double mastectomy and a hysterectomy. So her dreams of having a child will never be. And yet she said, you know what? There are a lot of great kids out there who need to be adopted.
You see how the positivity comes in? You see how, again, we reframe instead of becoming a victim, poor me. It's what am I going to do with what life's given me? It's always been my great question. What do I do with what's been dealt? With what's been dealt.
And how much happier she must be than the person who gets in bed and doesn't get out for 2 weeks.
Or doesn't get out for 2 weeks. Or the person that I sometimes fall into when things go bad or bad things happen and say, I'm just jinxed, or I'm unlucky, or God doesn't love me. It's like to catch those things and say, it's absurd. They're irrational.
True.
Everybody suffers. Everybody experiences loss.
But it's how we regroup and keep going that really can define us and define how the rest of our life will be, right?
Absolutely. And being able to step back, have obviously a very supportive system where we feel safe to be angry and to hurt through the loss, but then to pick ourselves back up again and move on. Now, life goes on.
Should that support system be family, friends, professional, medical doctors? What? Is there a magic team?
Probably any or all.
Okay.
But I love the notion of the magic team, because that does really kind of capture why not? Why not church? Why not have a counselor or a professional who's going to have some better life skills perhaps than a friend? But why not making sure you have very good friends who are there to listen and be there and to be supportive, but not necessarily to be advice giving.
True. Or not just to be your dumping ground.
Or to be the dumping ground.
Because that can...
Yes.
It could be. I mean, we could all make it all about us all the time, and that's all you talk about for the next 3 months at work, and that's dreadful for everyone.
Yeah. And I just want to add one last thing to it, and that is, again, when we talk about where we get our proactive energy or our ability to do it, it really does have amazing results when we're around the right people. When we at least have some people around us who are positive and who are energetic and who are alive. You know, to me, I recently met someone and she can't see. I never knew she couldn't see because her eyes didn't show. You never know she was blind. What an attitude, Whitney. I smiled the rest of the day. That's the power. Well, aren't you moved by those two women?
Incredibly. It's why I did the story.
See, yeah.
I thought we all can learn something here.
Which again leads me to watch your show and shows like it, because we want to start our Sunday morning on a positive note.
Right. Full of hope and promise.
Full of hope and promise and persistence and being able to pick oneself back up.
And we've heard enough of the presidential candidates for right now.
I would say so.
That 4-hour debate.
I would say so.
Even I couldn't stay with it that long. But record audiences, we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. It is interesting. It's a whole new political season.
Would that we had 23 million people interested in curing cancer. And we may So
we may. We may, you know.
turn that attention.
That's right. Dr. Haley says we may yet. Maybe not in his lifetime, but maybe in his daughter's lifetime.
That's a great way to hope.
That's right.
Happy Sunday, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Whitney.
Thanks. Much more coming up with Weekends with Whitney right after this.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC. Your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
Go Roof is proud to serve the Baton Rouge and surrounding areas with our years of experience and quality service. We want more than just your roofing needs. Go Roof cares about the client and wants you to be our customer for life. Roof replacement, repair, vents, and more. Go Roof will get it done. We have excellent standing relationships with all the top insurance companies, so making your claim is fast and easy. A beautiful roof every single time at Go Roof. Call now for a free estimate.
Hi, I'm Drew Detlich, and welcome to Camp Bow Wow.
We are Baton Rouge's premier doggy day camp, daycare, and behavioral training facility. Spanning over 14,000 square feet, your dog has plenty of room to play. We have covered yards that'll protect your dog from the sun and rain. We have a state-of-the-art HD monitoring system so you can watch your dog throughout the day. And don't forget, we also offer luxury suites.
So, stop in for a tour today, schedule your interview, and get your first day free. This is Camp Bow Wow, where a dog can truly be a dog.
Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. Well, two Tiger teams hit the field yesterday on LSU's campus, the Auburn Tigers and the LSU Tigers. But only one team has a live tiger as its mascot. And Mike has even more star power than the coaches and the team itself.
He's confident, agile, and impressive, much like the sports teams and student body he represents. LSU's Mike the Tiger is a tradition going back nearly 80 years. It's all Van Brock knows.
I've been coming here since I was 11, 12 years old.
He's been bringing his son Stan here too since he was a child.
Oh man, he just go crazy. He loves the Tigers. There's nothing like the Tigers. Everything he gets is Tigers. He probably has tiger underwear on right now.
And even though Stan now lives out of state, he never comes home without coming here.
I mean, I was raised an LSU Tiger fan, so I always come in here to see Mike.
And no graduation is complete without getting a picture in your cap and gown with Mike in the background. Mike may well be the biggest celebrity on campus. He has 44,000 Facebook fans, 11,000 Twitter followers, and 8,000 on Instagram. LSU Vet School PR Director Ginger Gutner helps Mike manage his social media.
We do it from a first-person perspective, so people actually talk to Mike, which has been very interesting for me. I never thought that would be the case. So he gets lots of declarations of love and compliments, and Mike is very thankful for all of those.
Mike's veterinarian and chief caretaker, Dr. David Baker, knew this tiger would make the perfect new mascot when he met him 8 years ago.
There were certain characteristics I was looking for in the next Mike the Tiger, and he had those characteristics better than any of the other tigers.
He was confident, but not aggressive, strong, yet gentle, enthusiastic, but not erratic. He was independent, but affectionate. 8 years later, Dr. Baker says he's just as magnificent, which doesn't always happen.
Almost 10 years of age, for his personality to be this good at this stage, as long as we continue caring for him in the way that we have, I think his personality will remain like this, and that would be fantastic.
You can see the bond these two have. Mike is generous with his affection. While we were filming, I noticed Mike kept following one woman everywhere. It was some kind of animal attraction.
I'm intrigued with how he responds to you. I mean, he couldn't take his eyes off of you. What's going on between you two?
I don't know, but it is very special, and and it makes me feel good that he recognizes me.
Turns out Debbie does Mike's landscaping inside his habitat.
I'm in this area every day, so he hears my cart and he sees me and I talk to him, so it's a lot of fun. And I think maybe he just is used to my smell.
Debbie hopes soon, with Dr. Baker's approval first, to put in an enrichment garden for Mike.
Plants like lavenders and mints and things he can tear up and walk around with and roll in and just have a lot of fun with.
Debbie says Mike's bonded with people who don't work at LSU too.
There are some people that come almost every day here and visit with him, and you can tell those people that he looks forward to seeing them. So it's pretty cool.
You love me too? Yes, him love me.
Daryl Bazette is one of those people. He's become known as the Tiger Whisperer around here. You can see in these YouTube videos, Mike and Daryl play a great game of cat and mouse.
Right. That's my buddy. That's my buddy. That's my buddy. That's my buddy.
Mike brought a special kind of magic to campus and the field. His first year as an LSU Tiger, the football team won the BCS National Championship. Hundreds come by to see Mike every day, but what few people get to see is what's going on behind the scenes. This is Mike's night house. He comes in here in the evenings to eat if he's hungry. He has his own stainless steel refrigerator and freezer filled with his favorites like oxtail.
Just keeps his teeth clean. It's like a popsicle, kind of. And occasionally the students will put some blood, animal blood, into a bucket and freeze it and make a blood sickle for him. And he likes those a lot too.
He can get 4 to 5 of these a day. It has a bit of everything in it.
It's fed a combination of meat, fish, vegetables, vitamins, soy, minerals, and we add extra vitamin E every day and vitamin B complex once a week. It's a commercially prepared diet that we get from a company in Nebraska.
While we were checking out his house, Mike came to the window to check on us.
He knows we're in here.
Now, does he want to come in?
He probably, if I opened the door, he would come in just to see what we were doing.
This shelf surprised me. On it are things Mike just loves to smell.
He particularly likes cinnamon and Vicks Vapor Rub. We think he likes the menthol in it. Oh, he'll rub all over it and lick it, and he likes to ingest it. In fact, they'll distribute it, these different scents around his enclosure, and he goes and looks for them and finds them, and he really enjoys that. It's just part of environmental enrichment.
Most nights, Mike sleeps in here on a bed of wood shavings. Dr. Baker says he'll make a real mess of things before the morning.
He gets into it and he'll have it spread all over just the way he likes it.
Before we leave, Mike comes to say hello at the window 2 more times. Yet, as friendly as he is, a fence always separates Mike from anyone, even Dr. Baker. It's too risky?
Yeah. Yeah, he probably wouldn't attack us, but we simply can't take that risk.
Mike's never lived in the wild. He was born in an animal rescue facility. It's always a thrill seeing Mike.
Oh, I'm like everybody else. I go wild. Go Tigers.
What he'd love to see is Mike on the football field this fall.
I wish he could come out of the cage there once in a while and get in that trailer and come into the stadium. That's what I want to see. You can't get him in, though.
Dr. Baker isn't exactly sure why Mike hasn't wanted to load into his trailer the last few seasons, but he does have some theories.
You know, there's more and more people attending the games than ever. There's more noise on campus than ever. He's at a different stage in life where he's not as inquisitive about what's going on. He knows what's going on. Also, in the past few years, we've had a couple of activities that have created more bass-type sound, like the launch of the fireworks on the field. The music that is played in front of the PMAC has a stronger bass tone to it than ever. And animals don't like bass, low frequency sounds, because those are the sounds that predators make. So we wonder if maybe that has something to do with it.
But the decision to go to the game or not is always Mike's. Dr. Baker will never force him because Mike's welfare is far more important than anything else.
It's about retaining this really wonderful personality that he has and the potentially catastrophic consequences to allowing that personality or causing that personality to degrade. See how close he is to us, how easy it is to examine him, examine his teeth, you know, his feet, everything about him. And if his personality changes and he decides that he no longer trusts us and won't come over and interact like that, you can see how that would compromise our ability to provide medical care for him. What he will do this year, this season, we just don't know, but of course we'll try. We will always do what is best for Mike the Tiger, and that is our number one, his well-being is our number one priority.
Mike's the one tiger you can find almost in the same place every day on the LSU campus. And if you go to visit him often enough, he just might start to recognize you too. Thanks so much for starting your Sunday with us here on Weekends with Whitney. Be sure to tune in next Sunday
as we train for the Olympics. Jack Bartles has been to the games so many times, it's hard to keep count. He'll show us what training it takes to bring home the gold, even in his 90s. And Hurricane Rita, 10 years later. It was a storm bigger than even Hurricane Katrina. How coastal Louisiana recovered from an 18-foot storm surge and $10 billion in damages. I'll show you rebuilding efforts that are saving Louisiana for generations to come. Why they're a model for how to do it effectively around the world, and how the Audubon Society has saved hundreds of migrating species of birds, and with it, a big part of sportsman's paradise.
Around Baton Rouge, you can see some birds that have already started migrating here. The lovely hummingbird is one of those. Well, Kim has had 3 at her feeder for about a couple of weeks now. So as we close this morning, she shares with us their incredible beauty. Have a great Sunday.